gentlemen, welcome to another amazing game of StarCraft. Now, this is the road to master, which means that I'm gonna be doing my absolute best to win this game so that I can steal my opponent's MMR and get a bit further ahead, I suppose. Anyway, as usual, I'm gonna be doing my normal build, Gateway Expand, and I'm gonna hope that my opponent is not gonna block my expansion site, which happens in most games, unfortunately, nowadays. It's becoming the new meta, and in my estimations, it's completely and entirely toxic. I don't like it, I'm not a fan of it, I don't do it, and I think it ruins the experience a little bit, the experience of the game, that is. But anyway, I'm gonna be, there we go, that's my simulator, or whatever it's called. I think it's called an assimilator. I think I remember correctly. Anyway, so now I'm gonna hide the probe behind the mineral line, just like in any other game, to confuse my opponent a little bit, or in any case, to avert their gaze from the fact that I'm gonna be planting an expansion early on in the game. Now, this game was pretty intense. I remember, I think I remember anyway, it happened like a couple of hours ago, and this Terran player was actually quite good. He made a really decent amount of units. And I made one crucial mistake, well, a series of mistakes, I'll be honest with you, but I think I made one crucial mistake that complicated things. But yeah, we're gonna get to that. At this point, he's just scouting, making sure that I'm not doing anything out of the ordinary. I suppose nowadays making air toss units, going for an air toss build is qualified or categorized as normal and ordinary. That wasn't always the case. Like, I remember in 2018, people were not doing air toss builds. Like, I was the only Protoss on the ladder doing consistent air toss builds, and by air toss I mean I used to make Void Rays and Oracles in the early game, and then I would transition into carriers and motherships and whatnot. And I say motherships because I used to lose my first mothership, and I would make more later on. Now, I'm making an Adept, expecting there to be a Reaper, and there is indeed a Reaper. I was a bit slow, and that's why the Reaper got to my base. There it is. And I think he's gonna get one. Is he gonna get more probes? I think he got one. Yeah, he got one probe. That should never happen. Like, this should never happen. In an ideal world, this build should never allow this to happen. Unless you're up against someone like Clem, for example. Then he can probably win this entire game with a single Reaper and a bit of micro. But yeah. I think one of my probes is actually following one of his colleagues there. I'm not sure why that is. Oh, that's bad. I'm losing income. I'm literally bleeding minerals in the early stages of the game for no reason. Today is not my day. As I mentioned in the previous video, I'm not feeling particularly poppy, but I still wanted to get in some good practice. And now, there we go. How many probes are following that particular probe, and why? Is that that's bad. At this point, I'm just preparing for a double crown attack, but my build is a bit it's a bit sluggish, that's all I'm gonna say. So my Oracle is late, my probes are doing fuck all, like 3-4 probes are following a single. Am I gonna see it? It's staring me in the face. No, 4 probes are now following a single probe. These workers, they're just fuck, they're uncontrollable, I mean. Anyway, so now I'm gonna try to do some damage. I don't think I did a lot of damage here. So again, I kind of do well. I'm not sure. My Oracle should already be in place. It should be ready to go. I messed up a bit. I was a bit slow. Will I get some damage still? I think I will. That's 3 probes. Not probes. SCVs and a Widowmine. But the thing is, I get a bit greedy and I lose the Oracle. And the damage it did not justify its cost. That was a bit unfortunate. The Adepts died, and I don't think they did any significant amount of damage. And the Oracle, well, he followed, I suppose. in their footsteps. But yeah, no, and I messed up my probes here. That was a particularly bad game. But I think it's important that I show you my worst games as well as my best games. And today I'm having a really bad day, and it's kind of funny. I decided to start my YouTube channel today when well, nothing is going my way, and well, at least one thing is going my way. I made this channel, I uploaded the first video, and I think things are going good. But I'm gonna need to step up my game. There we go. So one thing I forgot to mention is I noticed the Widow memes in his base, and I saw a lot of them. So I was like, this is gonna be a Widow meme drop surely. And then I positioned one of the Void Rays I had in the upper corner of the map in the dead space over there. You can see it on the minimap. And then I positioned the other one in the dead space on the other side of my natural, I suppose, on the other side of my base. And sure enough, I killed the Medivac with the Widow memes in it. That would have been really ugly had he deployed the Widow mines in my mineral lines, but he didn't, because I knew what was coming. Now, here's where I make the crucial mistake I was hinting at the beginning of the game. I should have made some Colossi. I should have gotten the I think it's called Robo. Yeah. So that's the robotics facility. I already have one. I need a robotics bay, Robo Bay, and that's what I didn't do. I omitted to build a Robo Bay, and that bit me in the ass really hard. Because he focused on a marine composition, Marine Marauder, Medivac, couple of tanks. I had a feeling that is what he was gonna do, but I did not adapt. I did not adapt at all. I kept making Void Rays and cannons and whatnot. This is basically the beginning of my demise, to put it that way, because I should have made Colossi. Literally, if I had made a Robo Bay now, I could have had 2 or 3 Colossi when he attacked, and that would have been the end of the game right there. I would have won. I just needed a couple of Colossi, but I knew that. Like, the alarm was going off in my head. I knew that I had to make Colossi, but I was like, I don't want to micro the Colossi. I suppose that's one of the reasons why you don't play when you're tired or frustrated, because then you're not exactly doing yourself any favors. Like in this game, I could have won. I could have won this game, and that's why I'm so salty, because I could have definitely made some Colossi instead of making a fleet beacon and going for carriers against bio composition. Honestly, at this point, I should have focused on making adepts with glaive, Colossi, maybe even some sentries for the Guardian Shield. I would have won this game. Like, I knew. And there we go. This is basically the beginning of the end for me. At this point, I could have had at least a single Colossus with the upgrade finishing up the adrenal glands. No, not adrenal glands. Thermal glances, I think it's called. The range upgrade for the Colossi. I could have had at least one Colossus with the upgrade about to finish up, but that is not what happened, unfortunately. And he knew that. He knew that I had a Void Race, and because of the failed attempt to harass him at the beginning of the game, I did not have enough Void Rays as well, and this is practically I tried to micro, but he was doing all the right moves. Sometimes I can micro my way out of sticky situations like this one. I've done it before, but I don't have nearly as much cannons or batteries to defend this push. And at this point I'm like, okay, what's my win condition? There is no win condition in this stage of the game. I should have made a robotics facility earlier on, and this wouldn't have happened. But again, I don't know why I do this. Sometimes I know I should be doing something, and then I purposefully don't do it, and then I lose, and then I get angry and frustrated because I didn't do what I had to do. And this is one of those games, and I'm showing it to you as a perfect example of what not to do. And again, if you're gonna be a StarCraft player, if you're gonna be a good one at that, I think you should definitely learn to adapt physically and mentally as well. So if you feel like you're having a bad day, or you're not particularly poppy or good at the game, maybe do something else and play another game, go exercise, study, work more. Just forget about the game, because StarCraft is not exactly a game. Like, many people consider it to be a game. I don't think it's there we go, there's a delayed Robotics Bay, and there was still a bit of hope in my heart that I could turn this around, but at this point, even with Colossi, I don't think it would have been possible. I have a couple of Voiders, like a handful, and Carrier, the other one is about to pop out, but yeah, that's one mistake that I keep making. Like, I know I'm better than this. I have beaten much better Terran players with this build. Like, I know what I have to do, but the problem was I didn't do what I needed to do, what I had to do, what I knew that I had to do to win, and so my win condition was practically non-existent at this point. Now, so something interesting about this, he had a lot of Marauders in the build, and presumably he made those in response to potential Colossi, which he didn't build. That could have complicated things slightly in the tanks, but he didn't have that many units at the beginning of this push, and I think a couple of Colossi would have made all the difference in the world, but they were not on the map in time. They were not on the map at all, and I had to GG out of this one. Yeah, that is basically the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and keep your heads up even when you're losing. Yeah, that's all I have to say.